We finished restoring your 1962 Daiwa Pachinko machine, and this quick start guide will show you how to set up and play. You'll be putting your machine in the cabinet, and there's a separate video for that. For anyone watching this video who wants to know how to stabilize your machine so it doesn't fall over, you can put it in a cabinet, or something as simple as 1x4s, screw a couple of those into the bottom to stabilize it. We need to lock the ball drain lever. This is the lever that holds the balls in the machine, and when you want to empty all the balls out, say to store it or lay it down, this part right here, that's locked. So that's the way it should be unless you're ready to drain it. And when you drain the balls, you would lift it up. So we'll lock that. Next we'll take your transformer. I have this wired to a transformer. It could have been wired to a 9-volt battery. But we'll plug this into an extension cord. And when we do, this light comes on. This light comes on and stays on whenever you don't have enough balls in your supply tray. So as you add balls to the supply tray, the weight of the balls will push this lever down and turn off your light. This other switch over here goes to a light bulb in here, and when you get a jackpot, this switch will activate, causing the light to flash. You'll have to see that from the other side. So this is the light that tells you to stop, refill the machine with balls, and this is the other one that flashes when you get a jackpot. Load some balls into your receiving tray here. Now when we load balls into the supply tray, they'll roll down this track around this turn. If you ever need to get inside this turn, say if you got carpet fuzz or something jamming it up, you just flip this lever back, and then you can swing that door open to gain access in there. Anyway, the balls will make that turn, come across this arm, and then stop right here. Now when you get a jackpot, this arm will be pulled back, allowing this whole piece here to pivot down, releasing these balls. They'll come in here, and they'll roll across, and then they'll enter into the jackpot assembly. And here they'll wait until you get a jackpot. We'll pour some balls in the top. Next we'll put a bucket here under this chute and under this chute to catch the balls. These you win, these are the ones you don't win. You actually won't need to do that since you're putting this into the cabinet. The cabinet has a funnel that'll feed the balls down to the white tray in that other video. But for anyone else watching this. Now the most common problem with Pachinko machines is the one ball seesaw in the wrong position. And when it's in the wrong position, your machine will back up, you won't get paid out any jackpots, and things won't work. So inside of here, there is a brass piece of metal, and it has 2 Pachinko balls in it, and it's a seesaw. It's like a counterweight, and it pivots as you get jackpots. Right now it's in the wrong position, so you'll never get a jackpot. So we need to reset it. And the way you reset it is there is just a little tab here. If we push up on that tab, it resets the seesaw. Now when you first load the machine with balls, there are none in the jackpot area, and in order for that to fill up, we have to activate like we're getting a jackpot. Or you could just play knowing that the first time that you get a jackpot, you're actually not going to get a payout because you're filling the assembly the first time. But if you want to go ahead and fill it, what you need to do is right inside of here, there is a little arm that pivots, and it pivots on this little pin. It pivots away from it. So you're going to have to pivot away and then pull down on that piece of that pin right there. Pull that arm down, pull it down, and then let go, and it will fill up the jackpot area. Let me zoom out and show you. Okay, and before you do that, you just want to double check and make sure that you have balls up here and that it's pushing this part out of the way, because if it also latches onto a pin here. So if you pull this down, it's going to push this rod up, and if this is latched, it won't work, and you don't want to force it. So that's clear. I'm going to pull down. Okay, now we have balls in the jackpot assembly and we're ready to play. To play Pachinko, you'll take one of the balls out of the tray, drop it through this hole, it'll run across the ramp and land in the shooter lane. Then we can pull back on the flipper and quickly let go, and it'll launch the ball. Now, if depending on the spring setting, it might launch the ball and it might have enough power to come all the way back around and fall, or depending on how far down you pull, you might get it to just come up a little bit and head this way, or head towards the center, or head over here. And you're aiming for these pockets. Any of these pockets, if you get a ball to go in there, you'll get a jackpot, as well as if it goes right above here. It's the same thing. You get the same number of balls no matter which one. You'll hear the balls hit a bell, make a nice sound, and this light will flash. And these spinners here just redirect or deflect the ball in different ways. And if you don't get it to go in any of the jackpots, it'll go through this outlet here and into your bucket and back. In your case, it'll fall through the cabinet and into the bucket in the bottom there. Okay, we'll go ahead and pull back. Oh, load the ball. And if it doesn't have enough power, it'll just roll right back. Okay, we had a ball go in here, we heard the bell sound, the light flash, and we got paid out. Now, if you put too many balls in the hole, at some point, the machine isn't going to have enough power to launch them on the playfield. And the only way to clear that jam is to open this playfield door. Let me show you that. There's a little loop right here. And if you lift up on that loop, it will open your playfield door. You lift up, and I can pull it open. You can see these teeth here. Those latch in through the back. So I swing that open. There is a bar here, so you just want to be careful when you shut that this moves smoothly in the track. But now I can reach in and pull out any of those Pachinko balls or anything else that makes its way in there. We'll take a look at the main attraction. There's actually, it's hard to tell, but there's actually the balls right back behind there, and as you get a jackpot, those will all release and fall down, and then a new one will drop in there. So I'm going to drop a ball through this gate here, this little window. Now, it should have paid out, but it didn't. And that's very common with these old machines, that sometimes something will hang. You know, the metal in the back, it's a lot of soft metal, a lot of brass. If they get bent even a little bit, then things may not work correctly. So let's take a look at what happened. So I can see a couple of things. I can see that the arm is all the way down, but it didn't pop back up, this long arm here. Also, this rod is pushed up, and this hasn't refilled with balls. It stopped. And upon inspecting, I can see that this metal is touching up against this clear plastic here. I'll zoom in. It's hard to see because this is clear plastic, but this track is catching on that plastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim that plastic down for you so it doesn't get hung anymore. But for now, I'm just going to push it back to the other side. That way that could reset. So like I say, if it doesn't pay out when it should, just take a look at the back, and maybe it's just one of these levers that didn't complete their cycle. Let's try this again. So what happened there is I forgot to reset the seesaw. Normally the seesaw resets for itself automatically when you get a jackpot, but because that time the cycle hadn't completed, the seesaw wasn't reset, so now I need to reset it. Okay, seesaw is reset. We'll drop a ball in. Third time the charm. Okay, we'll take a look at what happens when the seesaw isn't reset and you get a jackpot, kind of like what just happened with me dropping the ball in. The seesaw was in the wrong position, so the balls go into a holding area. And this was so when you're in the pachinko parlors in Japan, you could keep playing even if your machine ran out of balls. and this holding area would store your winnings, and then once a pachinko parlor attendant refilled your machine, you could activate those winnings and get paid for them. So this little green clear part here, it's used to store your winnings. I'm going to go ahead and drop some balls in with the seesaw in the wrong position so we can see what happens. Okay, so it entered in, rolled across the seesaw because it was in the wrong position, and it's filling up this holding area here. So now, if you do see balls in here, let me show you how to get those out. Now, to get the balls out of the holding area, first thing you want to do is reset your seesaw. It's in the proper position. Then right here, we have this metal. You can see one of the balls resting on top of it. We're just going to push this all the way up until it stops. And what it's going to do is it's going to load a ball into the one ball seesaw and pay it out. There's another one there. Okay, so all the balls that were in the holding area have now been paid out. Okay, when you're ready to empty your machine, let's say you need to transport it or just want to store it away or lay it down, slide your bucket all the way over to this chute, because this is where all the balls are going to drain. So we're going to lift this lever here. The balls will drain straight across here, down this chute into your bucket. Okay, and you just might want to just check, make sure no balls are stuck. And we still have balls in the jackpot assembly, and we need to get those out. One of the simple ways to do that is just to activate a jackpot by just lifting up on this lever. You may want to scoot the bucket over to catch the balls when you do that. Okay, now we have all the balls out of the machine. The last thing I want to point out is that that loop that we lift up on, the wire goes up and down to a couple latches that latch onto that fork that sticks through. And if you pull this loop straight back, it'll stretch these bars so that lifting it up doesn't lift them high enough to release. And if that's the case, then just push the entire loop in to the machine. Then you can lift it up and swing it open. Okay, that concludes this quick start guide. We sure hope you enjoy your machine.